all there is to it. It helps if you have an old traffic cone with the nib cut off. Hang it in the open upside down. Into this crush, you'll slide some of inspiration's cluck or fluster bottoms up, where with its head out the cone's pointy end, it will settle soon enough. But no matter what you've heard from Grandma about an axe and 2 nails in a stump, do not just pull the neck taut and slice the head off. It's not very often that the first thing you think to write about is all there is to it. You do pull the neck taut, yes, but as you close your hand over the head, there's the comb, meaty against the meat of your palm. Feel feathers surrender and eyelids flutter against the base of your thumb. Now, put the lexicon of your thumb to work. That part, they say, makes the difference between us and them. Figuratively speaking, you've been practicing with this thumb your whole life. How to button a shirt, how to hammer a nail, how to reach an octave, how to roll a joint, haul the strawberries, carry oils of sage and wintergreen to your nostrils. How to soothe the satin edge of a blanket. So let your thumb take its bearings from the corrugations of the trachea. Let it perform its ancient rhymes. Roll that thumb either side of the barrel of the windpipe till it noses out the connotations of a pulse. That's where you send the honed edge of your knife. To the jugular, but not to the airway. Because till your poem is flushed out, you want the heart's blood to flow without the heart stopping. Somebody, was it Sarah, read something about a goddess. I have a series of Gaia poems, Gaia, Mother Goddess of Life and the Bountiful Earth, and whatever it is she does. In this case, Gaia, Mother Goddess of Life and the Bountiful Earth, envies the oral tradition of cows. Tonight again, the cows lowing and keening keep Gaia from sleep, from her dreams of betrayal and cunning. The plague of their voices seeking their calves calls to the very loam of her body. It aches with their swollen udders. When her groundwater bubbles forth, when her tar pits begin to steam, she knows her breasts, so much in the practice of suckling young, also will swell. She leaves her bed and makes her way onto the hillside above the feedlot where the cows last saw their calves, where men herded calves onto trucks. A rabbit shrieks against night's talons, but it's the epic voices of cows that penetrate her like a brute. Times dozens and more. The night breeze stirs a lock of her hair along the back of her neck, and on her skin comes a sweet, scorching froth seeping into her bodice and shawl. The cows bawl and shuffle. Tomorrow afternoon, they'll resume their bovine reserve. But tonight again, they have nowhere to go with their immortal loss. Gaia holds her breasts close, envies the cows, their clean break. I had an editor turn that down once because I'd taken such a cheap shot at men. Probably just as well. This is my longest. I hope you haven't been sitting here too long. A number of years ago, a friend of mine faced foreclosure. That's the title of this poem in many parts. 1. The sun studies the far wall from the kitchen window. Already he has forgotten the blocky real estate of the refrigerator for the copper tubing that remains, the electrical outlet with its rag of cobweb, but no plug, no hum. He brushes past where the cat saved up kibble and other bounty under the absent stove. 2 keys, 1 book of stamps, the checkbook register, a hearing aid, and 4 unopened clips of Candy Pez. All now alight in the empty room, as though in passing his hip has dialed up the flame. 2. Make offer. Baskets, jigsaw puzzles and board games, placemats, tablecloth with matching napkins. 2 potted philodendron, baskets, clothes hangers bundled with masking tape, children's books from ducklings to dinosaurs, National Geographic, Reader's Digest, bubble wrap, baskets, plastic shovel and pail, pedal car, teapot shaped like English cottage, teapot shaped like pineapple, baskets, free. 3. Screwed to the door frame a clipboard the size of a postcard where drop-ins left notes. Sorry we missed you. We owe you lunch. We'll stop back later. D&S. The pencil hangs from a knotted string, lead broken. Its eraser dry as a nut. On the open porch, an indifferent breeze nudges the slatted swing on its way through. Matching blue shutters and window boxes hang on while they can, but the swing, hoof clops from an Amish buggy passing rap against clabbered, their knock unanswered by a terry cloth robe and Sunday morning paper, a cigarette at dusk. I've jostled into a cardboard box, Iris dug from along the walk as some kind of remedy, cannot find their list of things to do. First the root and then the rain. Still in the box at the corner of the garage, they give up trying to become an Easter hat. The bad news: limb fall from old maples spindles sod with a shrug after the good fight. The good news: limb fall welcomes sun to grass. Too much of a good thing, maybe. Grass claims the collateral in wood's exposed grain. Grass claims cracks in asphalt, claims raspberry canes, claims compost pile, fire pit, Adirondack chair. Grass claims lawn and goes to seed. The neighbor's drive seems twice as long with nowhere to go to carry gossip. From the gossip from the post office. Overdue news backs up and cools. Fix-it hands find their place repossessed. The sun curls into the corner by the back door like the dog they tried to give away, who would not dun them for what it cost her, navigating the road's shoulder back to the stoop. And if no one lets her in today, perhaps tomorrow or the day after. Or was it 2019? A number of us here ushered a friend of ours out into whatever's next. This is Labyrinth, and this is the first reference. 5 times I paint the same image with variations. A horse granting asylum to a boy. You wear the clothes of a much larger man, clothes that get larger by the day, by the hour. The hay arrives, late for second cutting, but sweet and deeply, deeply green. Across town, a man much older than you sits with his book and 2 cats, his neck and shoulders draped in a wrap his niece has made. In the morning, 5 deer break from shelter in the slough. Their white tails startle the shorn soybean field. A neighbor comes unbidden and unannounced with a shovel and a sack of quickcrete to reset the listing mailbox post. You sit on a chair in the shower and let the water run over you. Starlings gather in the cottonwood, their brassy Hitchcock chatter belying your vulnerability and your grace. A woman, dark inside her fringed hood, walks 4 big dogs and pushes an aging Airedale in a stroller. Before clearing out your refrigerator, I stand in the shower and let the water run over me. The brick mason on his padded knees celebrates the circumference of the labyrinth and its center. We wheel you out to the end of the jetty where you throw a key into the ocean. From the pillow, your voice rises with intonations of some totem animal. We can tell you're singing and join in. In the belly of a pile of grass clippings, compost begins to breathe. I reduce, reuse, and recycle, as you may have. This is from another series, Wingbound 1, Elegy on the Rose-Breasted Grosbeak, Dead in Fence Row Scrub. Trigger warning, dead animal. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. I'm probably not the only one here who's sung that song. Had you been the ubiquitous sparrow, your struggle in the fork of 2 twigs might have caught his righteous eye. He might have sent someone to save you while you still throbbed with consternation, sent an angel, or me, to unhitch your wing pits from twiggy stalks and return you to flight. As it is, you sag like a derelict ornament from your slender twig. Compared to this rack by sapling, evisceration by sharp-shinned hawk would have been grace. What good can anyone do you now? Did anything in the pattern of your exuberant flight foretell this skirmish? In your liquid song, bode its strangulation? Once snagged, you will have writhed and shuddered till your head fell every way wrong as a hoax. By the time our stars crossed, the sun had baked your skin to bark, your eyes to wafers, your wrenched and wretched shoulder blades into a crucifixion. Perhaps you died for no reason but that some god covets red. In a shadow box shelved with photographs and books, a plump bird carved from a single piece of wood and clipped to a peg stretches up, his round eye steady. Come December, maybe I'll clip it to a sprig of green and pretend it's you. After all, intimacy has to bear some shortcomings. In the wind, your haggard plumage still stirs. With the miracle of transfiguration, you become a leaf. Wingbound 2. You may remember this winter. I don't know, it's probably been a decade anyway now. Wingbound 2, elegy shy of lamentation. For now, in this deep winter, wind. No scab, no scale, no worry of codling moth stirs the orchard. Only wind. Elsewhere, uprisers storm the streets. Jetsam bobs in the current, trailing poisons, trailing spores. The earth moves, the sea opens up, and what was higher becomes lower. What had been low rises. Here, it's wind that disquiets kilter. Even rabbits cannot make tracks across deep snow for nights on end. In an apple tree, the great horned owl closes yellow eyes and freezes to the branch. He dies from the outside in, mark of both chance and covenant. Later, a boy will find him there. For now, light banks off the white feathered bib under the great shrine of his head, trailing his claim to night, trailing moon. Can you imagine being that kid, finding that? Rain hazes earthworms in divots that horses leave behind. Worms raise hosannas to acreage, honoring slough and rot with their 5 hearts and working dirt cheap. Disciples of both air and water, they genuflect their way through the valleys of shadows of clay, mouths full of communion and trash talk. But when rain falls too full of itself, it shrugs off worms' a reputation as reconcilers of apples to oranges. Waters rise, and soil's fraternal handshake goes limp. Worm hydraulics fail. No longer good at math, tinkerers with wood, lovers of music, worms wave as if from floating rooftops for a helping hand out. How long can they hold a primitive breath? They might as well be bait. Rain will love worms to death unless a child hears their soggy voices and wades in to carry them to deep grass on high ground. Let some poet try rhyming worm with muse. Try with just her one heart overturning an acre of ground in metaphors for chewing dirt. Title poem is the kid who modeled for me here. I don't think he is. Okay. Oh, there he is. Okay, Tristan. This is Tristan right here. I'm sitting here thinking, why does that guy look familiar? He looks familiar. I'm paying attention. Right. There is room in a horse for the whole boy. The sanctuary of her vaulted ribs receives a boy at hide and seek, like the cupboard under the kitchen sink. A foreign place, yet free from his fears of the secure hand lost, and as close as the call to lunch, as common and as mythic as the womb. The travel side, too, of a horse grants a boy full-bodied mercy. He lies astride along the long back of her, his 4 limbs in a play of joints draped down her planes of muscle overlying bone. When her solid skin bucks at flies, his own ribs like knuckles seek to knit with hers. The shared space of their lungs rises and falls, and in the choir of his belly, a heart bigger than his own cage of ribs echoes the business of their good blood. And where is there asylum for the whole horse, if not in a boy who smolders with the heat of summer grass, whose chapel rings with movement? As one, they bow to the stone against the soul and to the weight of rain on their backs. Their one flesh can tell fear from nurture, salt from sweet, itch from scratch. As one flesh, they know the space taken up by fences. Carry me, but now and then, from time to time, if you would just carry me, prop me up, steady me. Let me lean on you, I ask, just till the boom stops lurching. I don't mean like the tabby cat carries the vole, slack from the pounce of feline sport, or like the back of the envelope carries a grocery list. More, I hope, like the pond in the pasture carries the visiting geese, carries the reflections of the mare, the white oak, all on glassy shoulders without burden. Sometimes a good strong wind carries a rose cone stumbling over fields from someone's yard to lodge against the thorn apple. But think how April carries the tadpole to the surface of ditch water for a sip of air and out of sight again, where surely it can still see what needs seeing. Like that, if you can, and please, and would. Even as cattails carry their heads, each as much the one as the other. As the fallow edge of the cornfield carries the hoof print of the doe, and the greensward a buck's shed antler, which I will then carry home, a gift for you. This poem actually won a national contest, the 16th annual MacGuffin Poet Hunt. A little bit of an epigraph here. At the Impressionist exhibition of 1881, the public and most art critics found Gauguin's Etude de Nu, or Suzanne sewing, homely and vulgar. My body, this aging cheese. My body, this aging cheese, affronts them like a mold, as though beneath my bird rind I were not still another woman's cream-skinned daughter, tending to her torn petticoat. This curdled lap, these clotted breasts, slough their tuts and rancid glances. If our intent had been a pose, I'd have sat this unmade bed like a throne. Instead, I ripen and mend. And if they miss the grace even I can see of thimble needling thread from one stitch to the next, they miss too that flavors in the fat, and that in full time, like sin, generations removed from the original, they will lick me all over for the salt.